He is going to wish, you guys. The spell cannot be countered. That's a good game. Aruga. Oh my god. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Good Game. Today we are playing Counter Control. We've made an Esper deck that is fine-tuned for best of 3 beating other counter or other control decks, right? This is in a sense Esper Control, but it's not so much focused on aggro. It's really fine-tuned for beating those control decks. And then if it does turn out to be aggro, we sideboard for it and we'll deal with it then, right? So we're going to take a look at the deck list. We're going to talk about some strategy, get into some gameplay footage, come full circle with some closing thoughts. Again, thanks for watching, you guys. If you find any value within this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that bell icon as well so you're notified about our future uploads. Thanks for watching. Let's get into it. Our deck list starts off with 4 copies of Dovin's Veto. We don't have any 1-drops. We're straight into our 2-drops. Dovin's Veto is an instant spell. It's a plains and an island. This spell can't be countered. Counter target non-creature spell. So that's really good to counter other counter spells. Despark ×2. This is a plains and a swamp. Another instant. Exile target permanent with converted mana cost 4 or greater. We have 4 copies of Thought Erasure. This is a sorcery for an island and a swamp. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card and surveil 1. We have 2 copies of our first 3-drop Murderous Rider. This has Swift End, which is an adventure instant tag to it. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. You lose 2 life. The creature is a 2/3 with lifelink, and when Murderous Rider dies, put it on to the bottom of its owner's library. 3 copies of Narset, Parter of Veils. This is a legendary planeswalker coming into the battlefield with 5 loyalty counters on it. It has a static ability of each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn, and a -2 ability of look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. We have 4 copies of Teferi Time Raveler, another planeswalker coming in with 4 loyalty counters. It has a static ability of each opponent can cast spells only anytime they could cast a sorcery. A +1 ability of until your next turn you may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash, and a -3 ability of return up to 1 target artifact, creature, or enchantment to its owner's hand and draw a card. We have 3 copies of Absorb. Counter target spell, you gain 3 life, 1 plains, 2 islands here, so a little bit mana specific. 2 copies of Oath of Kaya. When it enters the battlefield, deals 3 damage to any target, you gain 3 life. Whenever an opponent attacks a planeswalker you control with 1 or more creatures, Oath of Kaya deals 2 damage to that player, and you gain 2 life. This is a plains and a swamp. And then 2 copies of Unmoored Ego for an island and a swamp. So you see the mana is really important here. And when you're playing Esper, it's really important to have those rare lands, right? The shock lands, the check lands, the scry lands, anything, any dual lands are really going to set you apart. So, Unmoored Ego is a sorcery. Choose a card name, search an opponent's graveyard, their hand, and library for up to 4 cards with that name, and exile them. That player shuffles their library and draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way. Moving on to our first and only 4-drop, we have 2 copies of Shatter the Sky. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card, then destroy all creatures. This card costs 2 plains, plus the 2 colorless mana, of course. Elspeth Conqoures Death, our first and only 5-drop, also with the 2 plains requirement, with 3 colorless mana. This is an enchantment saga. Turn 1, exile target permanent and opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. Turn 2, non-creature spells your opponent casts cost 2 more to cast until your next turn. And turn 3, return target planeswalker or creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a 1/1 counter on it or a loyalty counter on it, depending on which card it is, right? We have 3 copies of Dream Trawler, our first 6-drop. This is a 3/5 with flying and lifelink. Whenever you draw a card, Dream Trawler gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Whenever Dream Trawler attacks, draw a card, and you can choose to discard a card at any time. Dream Trawler gains Hexproof until end of turn. Then you go ahead and untap it. We have 1 single copy of Thought Distortion. This spell can't be countered. Target opponent reveals their hand, exiles all non-creature, non-land cards from it, that player's hand and graveyard. So that's absolutely disgusting. We have a Castle Ardenvale, a Castle Vantress, 4 Hallowed Fountains, 4 Temple of Enlightenments, 4 Godless Shrines, 4 Temple of Silences, 3 Temple of Deceits, and 4 Watery Graves. Getting into our sideboard, we have 3 Devout Decrees, exile target creature or planeswalker that's black or red, scry 1, 2 Elder spells, destroy any number of target planeswalkers, choose a planeswalker you control, put 2 loyalty counters on it for each planeswalker destroyed this way. 4 Mystical Disputes. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a blue spell. Target spell is countered unless its controller pays 3. 2 additional Shatter the Skies, an additional Elspeth Conqoures Death. Liliana Dreadhorde General. This is a planeswalker that comes into the battlefield with 6 loyalty. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card as a static ability. +1 is create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. -4, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. And -9, each opponent chooses a permanent type among permanents they control and sacrifices the rest, which is cool. And then 2 copies of Helioid's Intervention, an instant spell, destroy X artifacts and or enchantments. And then you can also choose to gain twice X life as well. So that's the sideboard, that's the main board. Let's get into the strategy. Okay, you guys, as far as strategy goes, it is an Esper deck, and there's going to be a lot of choices to make throughout your matches. So it comes down to prioritizing your spells to do the most value possible as your opponent. So I like to think of things as a +1, -1, or a 0 even trade, and try to gain +1s as many times as you can in a match and just stack those. For example, if you slay 3 creatures with Shatter the Sky, that's a +1, if not a +2, because you used 1 card to deal with 2 to 3 of theirs, right? For example, we also want to prioritize our Dovin's Veto for planeswalkers, right? And especially maybe planeswalkers that are 3 or less. And then we can use Despark to get rid of planeswalkers that are 4 or greater, for an example, right? So we want to make sure that we're not leaving a spell out of place. We want to make sure everything has a use in every match. So your first objective in the match is to identify what your opponent is playing. What deck are they playing? What cards have they played? And you can basically normally tell this just from what land they're playing, right? Because everybody is so fine-tuned into the meta that it's as easy as that. Secondly, is just ramp. Get all of those lands out. Make sure you hit your land drops. Make sure you have 2 plains. Make sure you have 2 islands. Make sure you have 2 swamps. Those are your only requirements, and we have the land to get you guys there. It should not be a problem. I really like to prioritize Thought Erasure in my hand, Teferi Time Raveler in my hand, Shatter the Sky, and either Elspeth Conqoures Death or Dream Trawler. All those are great draw hands. You could use Narset without Teferi, but it's just so nice to have a Planeswalker drop on turn 3. If you can identify what deck they're playing, and you know you can make an impact, Unmoored Ego, absolutely. If they're Azor's control, you know that Dream Trawler is their only threat. Just Unmoored Ego Dream Trawler out of their deck, and that's the game, right? It's as easy as that. Shatter the Sky kills other Dream Trawlers. It also kills aggro decks. Elspeth Conqoures Death is really cool when combined with Dream Trawler, because we can use Dream Trawler's discard ability to put, say, another Dream Trawler or a Teferi or something into the graveyard. Because if we don't have something in the graveyard, Elspeth will fizzle on turn 3, and we really want to make sure we get that value there. So we use Dream Trawler's discard ability to discard something, so we always have a target to grab with Elspeth Conqoures Death, right? Thought Distortion against control decks. If not, it's a dead card. But again, this deck is fine-tuned to beat control decks, and if it's not a control deck, sideboard it out, right? It's as easy as that. When we take a look at the sideboard, obviously, Devout Decree is for anything that is black or red. Elder Spell is really against Planeswalker decks, like Walker decks, if you want to wipe those. Mystical Dispute against other counter or control decks. Once we've identified that's them. Shatter the Sky if it's aggro. Elspeth Conqoures Death if it's a mid-range deck, right, with some big permanents or another Walker deck, something like that. Liliana if we're lacking in win condition. And Helioid's Intervention if they're playing artifacts or enchantments. So it's pretty self-explanatory with the sideboard guide. If you guys need help clarifying any decisions, be sure to reach out to me in the Discord, link in the description below. We're also live on Twitch every single morning, 6 a.m. PST. If you want to check out the live show, I'd really appreciate that. With that all being said, thanks for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe once you do hit that bell icon so you're notified of my future videos. And let's get into today's gameplay footage. Okay, you guys, we always want to play first. I say we keep it even though Dream Trawler. He's pretty heavy. We like that later on. The 2 temples are nice for the scries off the start. Right? We can make sure we get that land. Or even maybe a Teferi. Ideally, we are playing against other control decks, right? That's our game plan today. We are in best of 3. We're supposed to be playing first, so our opponent must just be deciding whether to mulligan or not. It's a hard choice sometimes, I'll admit that. New Jace puppet. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I'm still a pretty big fan. Like, as far as pet animations go, I think he's cool. Alright, we're in the game. Temple of Deceit activates a couple things. The 4th land is probably alright. Let's just stack to 6, right? It's as easy as that. Mono red is not what we signed up for, LOL. Just continue the scry. Dovin's Veto. If we hold it up, we can stop his Embercleave. But he's going to be more creature spells. And we do have a few copies of Shatter the Sky in here. Not a lot, because we're not hunting aggro. But Shatter the Sky is a great way to deal with Dream Trawlers as well. And it appears to be Gruul. Let's get the quick removal here. Growth Chamber Guardian is able to search his library when he adapts for another Growth Chamber Guardian. So it's a really cool way to preserve your hand strength. Evolution Sage. I don't really want him proliferating at all. So maybe we just take it easy. And replay an Oath. I don't want to use Murderous Rider yet. Just because he could play a Gruul Spellbreaker, something with more than 3 defense. Another Growth Chamber Guardian. This guy is all in. We're almost at 5. Let's play our Teferi and bounce his Guardian here.
Let's slow this down.
He could have a shock, but I doubt it.
Time to play. No, I am not making this up as I go.
We pull the land and come in tapped. Hopefully no haste, right? Haste would kill our Teferi.
You want to play with fire, I'll sit back and watch it burn.
Gets a land, that's actually pretty cool. Absorb is live, that's really good. Let's pay life for this. And then we need, yes, that'll be correct. Let's destroy the Chandra. Plus our Teferi, and now we're holding up an Absorb.
I'll protect you.
We could play our Narset. No, we're gonna Absorb, and then after our Absorb, we'll play our Dream Trawler. Leaving Teferi die. Here comes our Absorb on his Domri. Just kind of prioritizing his high value cards for our Absorbs. And yeah. I'm gonna keep the Temple in my hand in case I need to discard it. I don't want to discard Narset. I want to search for an Elspeth Conqoures Death or something high value with her. Okay, another Chandra. Interesting.
It's my turn. This is just gonna
He
be
gets
bad.
another land. So we could have taken the Scry. Hindsight 2020. Obviously, we have to do this. Let's get rid of our Hollowed Fountain. Play the Scryland. Land goes to the bottom. We play our Narset now. Looking for an Elspeth Conqoures Death.
Meditate.
Even a Fairy Time Raveler. In the house. Let's play our Murderous Rider. He could make us discard to Fairy. That would be less than ideal.
No problem.
Oh, he does. Good thing we didn't play to Fairy. And he can actually get it right now. I don't think... Or we can, actually. I was going to say, if it's tapped, can we re-tap it? Yes. Keep it tapped. Tap that Trawler, boy. Beanstalk Giant looks for land. Up to 2, plays his Growth Chamber. And yeah. Another Narset's not the worst.
But thoughtfulness before action.
I didn't even know what he's playing. Ah, we just pulled another one organically. Okay, so we get the kill. Or maybe close to the kill. He sees the Unmoored Ego. He can't adapt right now. So that card's gonna be worthless. We might want to look for a Questing Beast. Like, that's probably a better bet. Alright, we take the damage. We've got plenty of life, though. Even a secondary Narset.
We're done here.
Good game. So that's not a control match, but let's see how we do in the sideboard here. So that was more creature-based, right? So probably want... Well, he did have a lot of Planeswalkers as well. Let's take that ECD. And let's take Devout Decree. That's a really nice slap in the mouth there. Joven's Veto can go. I think that's good. Keeping our Unmoored Ego. Especially now that we know what he's playing. Alright, I think you get like a minute and 20, don't you? It says we're still waiting. I'm pretty sure our connection's okay. Okay, here we are. I'm hoping he didn't just Control-Delete and now we're gonna get roped again. What? 2 wins in a row in Mythic? Pretty easy. I can't complain, right? That's obviously nice. You can tell why he's down at 89% as well, right? Just maybe doesn't quite have the resolve to finish his matches even. I think this is it, you guys. Kind of a shame for our first 2 wins. But we did get to play the first match and we talked about why we needed to make those specific sideboard changes. So we'll probably fast forward this and catch you guys in game number 2. Alrighty, this is a very poor hand. Let's take a moment to identify that. There's only 1 land. That requires an immediate mulligan. We keep this, and I say we toss a land. The Scries I kind of like, not gonna lie. But 1 is enough, and that allows us to play our turn 2 Thought Erasure, turn 3 Narset, and hopefully, I guess we just pull 3 more lands. We have a Dovin's Veto. It is a blue drop, though, on our opponent's board. We have 1 for now. Let's try to stack land to our Trawler. Who knows what he drops? It could be a green, right, for Simic. And it is definitely Azor's Control. So, we are looking for an Unmoored Ego. Right, we need to drop these Trawlers like they're hot. We also need to drop Elspeth Conqoures Death like it's hot. ECD brings back Dream Trawler. That's like really good, right? ECD is the most powerful card. We need to exile Dream Trawlers, and we need to get rid of ECDs. That's our whole get.
I have just the trick for this.
Pulls another lucky little duck. Our Narset can probably stay as well. Taking his second Elspeth Conqoures Death. Oh, golly, we do have that rare opportunity to put Narset in the graveyard, which we will do. We should have surveilled her in earlier, and then we could have got an extra surveil. So we're missing out on a little bit of value there. Could be worse. Could definitely be worse, especially with me as your guys' pilot, right? But again, our main goal here is to get rid of all these ECDs and Dream Trawlers. That's all he has that'll kill us, right? If we can Unmoored Ego and get our Unmoored Ego through past this Dovin's Veto, laughing. So let's try to pull out the Dovin's Veto, right? We know he has it. We know we've got to get rid of it. There that is. Thank you. And still stacking towards our Dream Trawler. He has a Shatter the Sky, which will deal with our Trawler. But again, once we pull an ECD without the veto, it'll be able to land on one of his targets, and then we should be able to jump our Trawler back or our Narset, something high priority from the graveyard, taking the Scry with the Temple. Our own Shatter I have to keep because he has an opposing Dream Trawler, right? So that's really, really bad. I don't think we need to drop his Narset. Sitting all right. Let's just hang out. Murderous Rider is the sleeper of the deck, and this is what's really going to shine. He needs to exile a Murderous Rider, because it's going to come back into our library. And if we do get into that weird mill-off where we're just playing forever against each other, then Murderous Rider is going to win us that match. That's what happens. He has his castle, which is really nice. He's going to make sure that he gets his Dream Trawler out this turn, right? He's got the land. So we're going to have to just immediately shatter. It's great. We've got that at the helm ready. Right. Very nice. Now the sad thing is, unless we can get to our Unmoored Ego, we only have a few copies of Shatter the Sky in deck. I may Murderous Ride his Narset or his next threat, and then play it as the creature just to try and draw out his Shatter the Sky. Am I right? 2 Dream Trawlers back to back. We're unable to drop ours until the turn after this. Not good. Ooh. Thought Distortion would have been good earlier, I think. Maybe we keep it. He's gonna give it hexproof. That's fine. The bad thing is it fizzles our rider, and it loses an Aether Gust. Really? It'd be cool if we could counter this ability, the triggered ability here, and then his Dream Trawler wouldn't gain that, and we accidentally did that on our turn. We should have done that on his turn, and then it would have been tapped and couldn't have attacked. That's our second misplay here, you guys. Again, you do have an aggro player at the helm, pretending to be a pilot. Birth MLTs doesn't bother us. We're going to take another big hit here, though, which sucks. Let's play our own trawler. He could have a counterspell, I doubt it though. He has access to his Shatter the Sky. This combined with the castle activations 2 turns in a row is really beating us down. Woof. Into a Teferi. That's hot.
Sorry I'm late.
So I'm thinking we probably should have used Thought Distortion earlier.
I won't let you win.
Right. Bummer. We're going to try to make this up in game 2 and 3, though, of this match. Those are some pretty rookie mistakes. And we know that we've got a control player, right? We know that it's just Dream Trawler and ECD that we need to deal with. We can do it. We can make sure we get the right mulligan. Hopefully he draws something really good here. Obviously not an ECD because he could cast that. And we'd have to toss our Thought Distortion at that point. Alright. Obviously not playing our land, we need to keep that to discard. Let's go up top and see what else he has in his hand. Hopefully we get the whole mitt. Gonna discard to exile his Aether Gust. Interesting. We get it right out of the graveyard as well, so that doesn't really matter. We have to take the draw is the thing. We don't get the draw because Narset blocks it first. I thought maybe if we killed her, then we could get the draw. Nonetheless, we do get the life gain, keeping the card in a hand to discard. Our opponent has activated his castle 3 times now. That should be enough to win just about any match, sadly. Okay, 2 to the top. Dream Trawler goes up. He's gaining life. Whatever. As a Teferi on board, that's pretty cool. Right, we are looking for an Unborn Ego. An Elspeth Conqoures Death. Shattered Sky. We need quite a few things, sadly. We get hit pretty hard here. There's Fervening. He is taking those draws. Refill in his hand. Where's our Narset? LOL. Okay, a secondary Dream Trawler actually helps a lot. Especially if he doesn't have a Shattered Sky. Right, that's what he needs at this point. Two to the bottom, finally. Doesn't get his counterspell. Healing to Fairy. We get the draw this time. It's a D-Spark. That's pretty good. 4 or greater, aka Dream Trawler, forces him to discard, and it is an instant. So if we pull secondary removal, we might be able to dump. Right? Sorcery, we do sorcery first, then our D-Spark instant on top of the stack once he tries to give it hexproof, and hopefully he doesn't. But again, he's got 4 cards in hand. It's a lot. 2 Dream Trawlers will upset the pace of the match, though. Okay, Elspeth Conqoures Death does take something from his grave. We can despark the Elspeth, though. Right, getting rid of our Watery Grave. And that will be, what, the 3rd Elspeth that we've taken care of? Or... they switched spots. For a second, I thought I gave the wrong one hexproof. I was like, no! So he gets the hit, gets the draw. Hopefully it's not a... actually, he couldn't cast it. He doesn't have the mana. You would need to put a land and then a second ECD. Omen of the Sea is going to tap his mana. But he does get to draw, pushes Dream Trawler up to 6. Definitely allowable. 2 to the bottom, so we're being blessed again. Definitely used the castle enough times. Okay. Still a match somehow. Do you think he has a Dovin's Veto? Let's try to pull it out with our Teferi. That is definitely a veto spell, right? Now that he's done that, go ahead, throw this on the stack and slay his ECD. Bait and hook, ladies and gentlemen. Our 2 Dream Trawlers will also buff each other up, which is really cool. So they're going to each go up by 2. Loving it. Getting the double draw, which is so darn helpful for us. Do you think we can get a land? Give us an untapped blue source of land. No. Striking for 10. Or is it 12, actually? That's 12. We have cards to discard if we need. Our opponent is desperately looking for a Shattered Sky. We're looking for Unmorphed Ego. Maybe even Dovin's Vetoes at this point. Late game, it's always nice to hold something like that up. He's chewing through his library. He's down to 29. We're still at 39. He is not afraid to do that, that's for sure. 2 more to the bottom. Goes to 5, hits for 6, at least. Ooh, Castle Ardenvale's nice. Fairy Time Raveler is nice as well. And balances Omen of the Sea.
Well, that didn't pass.
Yeah. All good plays, all good plays. Gets another draw, he's up to 6, attacks go to 7, and gets an additional draw, so he's doing very well. We need to get rid of this Dream Trawler, you guys. That's what he's thinking to us, though, right? And in all honesty, I think I'd rather be us than him. Goes up to 8, that's incredible. And he's got 3 mana available. we're going to start off with a Thought Erasure. Try to pull out an Absorb, some sort of counter spell. Oh my god. We're going to need to pull more than one, that's for sure. Yeah, let's try Oath of Kaya. This is worth countering as well. He's not going for it, which to me is incredible. Striking the Teferi. Out of the way, please and thank you. So his mana is dead for the rest of the turn. He really wants to save those counter spells. Hopefully we can get an untapped blue source here. Negative, but we do pull our own Absorb, which could become helpful. We don't have the mana for it this next turn, but we will get there. Gaining 12 more life. So totally all allowable. We have cards to discard as well. He's got no removal, just counters. So we're in a winning situation. Game. So how are we going to sideboard for this, you guys? Stay tuned and let's find out. All right. We have the Dream Trawler, right? So Mystical Dispute comes in to deal with Dream Trawler. Shatter the Sky also deals with it, but not in the way we want. So definitely Mystical Dispute. Thought Erasure deals with it. Spark deals with his Elspeth Conqoures Death, so does Dovin's Veto. Oath of Kaya, probably not required. Thought Distortion did save us. I think in the end, Elspeth Conqoures Death will save us as well. I think we can cut down and Absorb, and I think we can cut down a Narset? No, not a Narset. Thought Erasure probably. Thought Erasure is really good too, though. Let's trim one Dovin's Veto. Keep our D-Spark. Well, no, it's better if it doesn't hit the field at all. Let's go down to one Absorb. Keep our Thought Distortion. Right. Leaving Liliana on the side, leaving our Elder Spell, leaving Helioid's Intervention, which could be good. And then leaving the Shatter the Skies out because we're going to Unmoor Ego his Dream Trawler instead. Right? We got this. Make sure you pay attention to your timer there as well. I didn't. I'm glad we didn't run out of time. It's a lot of land, but it's a long match. A lot of scrying to do for us as well, which I don't mind. Our opponent goes first. We do have that turn 2 Thought Erasure. All lands can go at this point. We even top decked another. So let's just see what he's got. Probably running Mystical Dispute. We could have held up Dovin's Veto. But I want to get in there, you know what I mean? Elspeth Conqoures Death is so powerful. The Spark does deal with another Elspeth. So does our veto. It's not Dream Trawler though. It's not Dream Trawler. It's not Unmoored Ego. And it's not Dream Trawler. Right? Those are our rules right now. Should have held up our Dovin's veto and then taking the Thought Erasure. His Teferi shuts down my Dovin's veto, so it basically becomes a dead card. So there's our first misplay of the game, you guys. It's been identified. He plays Narset, which is good for us.
Mind and body.
Right, we can still counter his Teferi next turn, that means. Let's continue to scry. Mystical Dispute is good. That deals with the Trawler for us. Does get to 1.
Meditate.
Also, we need to deal with 3 more Elspeth Conqoures Death. He gets his own Mystical Dispute, so that's troublesome. Paying life. Pushing his Archon out. And we have nothing to deal with it. So this is a very bad situation for us. We are definitely on a timer, and he definitely has counter magic available. Quite a bit of it. And we're pulling land like nobody's business. We need a removal for his Archon of Sun's Grace. Mystical Dispute does nothing now. He's not going to play his Shatter until we take control. Going down to 12 here. That is troublesome. Ouch. I'm not sure what to say about the land, other than ouch. We've only had 4 non-land cards, and this isn't worth countering. Oh, it's got to enter, actually. Bummer. So we're looking for a Shatter the Sky now, which we don't have a ton of. Alright, Teferi's gone. Our Teferi can land. If he absorbs, we dispute it. Ooh, Dovin's veto himself. Nice, that's gonna be a good game. We don't have the land, he's hitting us for 5. Got counters. We're not going to land Shatter the Sky, even if we get it. Ouch. Let's see if we can try to scoop this guy up in game 3. So the Archons were a problem. It's got 4 toughness, which is a bummer. Let's drop our riders. And let's drop one of our T-Sparks. We can pray, ladies and gentlemen. We got this. We definitely want to deal with the Pegasus, the Sun, the Archon of Sun's Grace. So we've put in more shatters, but an Elspeth Conqoures Death, and we get to play here. We have Trawler, and we have our 2 oppression factors with enough land. I like it. We're even on the play. Narset can go. We want land. We already have one. Really important that we just pace out. I'd rather get a Mystical Dispute to protect something that we do. So, does he have a Dispute in his hand? I don't know. Probably. He doesn't have Mystical Dispute or Dovin's Veto. We're good. Of course he does, though. Nice. Place his own Teferi. Also very much nice. Hopefully we draw a land for our Elspeth Conqoures Death.
I've done the hero thing before.
We do. Even on point. Another Elspeth. I like it. Let's just grab that immediately.
My prowess is unmatched by my peers. With thoughtfulness before action.
Nagel. He sees it, which is a bummer, but whatever. Hopefully we can continue to push our land up into a Dream Trawler. He's not able to draw with our Narset on field. He has all of those Omens of the Sea, Thirst for Meaning, so that's nice. He really relies on draw for his deck.
Just the trick for this.
He's got a counter up. It's just one turn too late. And that's kind of what happens sometimes when you're on the draw. We're going to take his Teferi out of play.
Hone your prowess.
We only have one source of black. That is such a bummer right now, or we'd take our Thought Distortion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm still doing it. I am still going for it. He's got so many cards in his hand. If we draw an untapped swamp here, we are just giggling. I believe. If not, we put down another Elspeth Conqoures Death. Any untapped land will be good, actually. But he gets a Teferi. She can play. Do you think he... Oh my god. He's gonna wish. He is going to wish, you guys. The spell cannot be countered. That's a good game. Aruga. Oh my god. What a life we've lived, you guys. He has nothing to discard.
I am not.
So we can just hit him with an old fashioned. Actually, we should have shattered. Oh well. It doesn't matter at this point. Anything we do is just gold. Let's bounce this ECD back to our hand to draw as well. Oh, Narset on the field. We don't get to draw. Ouch. So, this is still a match for him somehow. Hey, he gets his own ECD. That's cool. You know it's a card when you just, like, that's all the game is. It's just, like, Elspeth Conqoures Death on Elspeth Conqoures Deaths. Right? Loving it. So we have nothing to take, so we're going to play our Dream Trawler. And we don't even need to. That's game, you guys. How to beat a control deck. Okay, you guys, that was Esper Counter Control, the deck fine-tuned to beat other control decks in the best of 3 queue. I think it worked pretty good, in all honesty. I am finally getting a grasp on Esper, so that makes me quite proud of myself. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. We did make a couple of misplays, but I think I caught them all. Again, please point out any mistakes that I ever make. That's how I learn, is through you guys. Again, I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Without you guys, this would not be possible. Your continued support and attention does not go unnoticed. Make sure to join the Discord, check out our community contests and giveaways. We've got like $3,000 worth of stuff we're giving away to our community, so don't miss out on it. Over 300 or 400 members now, so it's really growing and it's really flourishing. We've got monthly brawl tournaments. We've got so much stuff going on. Be sure to jump in our Discord, you guys, after, of course, you've subscribed and hit that bell icon. Okay, you guys. That's it for me today. You're not going to get any more. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Same time, same place tomorrow. Take care. If you liked today's video, be sure to check out some of our other content. We built playlists for our guides for beginners, and then we also have our greatest hits, which is a collection of our most popular videos. You can also subscribe if you're interested in winning up to 500,000 gems. So do that, tap that like button, send this out to a friend who you think might be interested in it as well, and have a great day.